Where do I need to stand? Am I all right?
You're right. Mike's hot.
Do I need to go that way a little? This way a little?
You're fine.
That way a little? This?
Mike's hot.
Mic's hot. Oh, the mic's hot?
Mike's hot.
How's everybody doing? I actually missed not being here last week and doing one of these, so it's become part of my routine now. So I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. Mine stunk, but I hope y'all had a great one. I wanted to talk about this for just a second. As being a disciple of Christ, one of the terms that's used, one of the older words they use is to draw alongside somebody, to be there beside them, and we had the privilege of being there alongside a dear friend of ours that passed a week from Saturday, and he was, like I said, a dear friend of ours, part of the Powermetrix family, and when you have a chance to pray with someone like that and be alongside them and be there for them, it's a privilege. It doesn't feel like a job or a task or something you have to do or supposed to do at all. I mean, it really feels like a privilege to be there for someone like that. So we're just very thankful we could be. We were very thankful to our friends that allowed us to be part of this, and we're just we're going to miss the heck out of him, but we know where he is now. So anyway, so I'm going to start out with a quick prayer, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So Father, thank you so much for the time that we were able to spend with our dear friends right there at the end of his short life, but the start of his eternity in heaven. And Father, we just it's times like this that it makes you just stop for a second, just realize that just what's going on here, which is people's souls spending eternity in heaven or hell, and the consequences of what we speak about and talk about, and it's no small thing. And so I'm just so thankful that we could be there with our brother and sister, and we're just so thankful that she's doing a little bit better now. And Father, we just, as I said, we just lift them up, lift their family up. It was a tough loss, and Father, while I'm at it, I lift this country up. We just keep hearing dark times, dark times, dark times. But Father, we know that in the midst of the dark, you will always be the light for us. So, Father, we just turn to you in the midst of this impending darkness, and we just turn to you, the light, in a fallen world. So, thank you so much for your Son. Without him, I couldn't even pray right now. And so all of these things I say and ask according to the will of the one who paid it all, my brother, Jesus Christ. Amen. So I think we have set a record. We're always looking for records. So I think we set the record for least preparation for a webinar. I think this one's got to be right up there at the top, if it's not the least preparation. So. And Mullins is grinning right now. He doesn't want to. But yeah, this is least preparation. So you might get a chance to see some good fodder for the bloopers reel at the end of this thing when we're done. All right. So let's go over what we're going to talk about today. So we got testing a transform rated site without a test switch. And unfortunately, you can see you're stuck with me, John Jones, there to do it. So this is, Series 12 in the COVID-19 Quarantine Webinar Series. It's crazy. And so we, what we're doing today. We're just going to look at if you show up at a site and they don't have a transformer-rated switch, you got some options there, and we're going to talk about them. All right. We're going to actually show you an example, and we're going to have metering installations without test switches. And today we're going to be dealing with transform-rated. Okay, not self-contained, but transform-rated. And we're going to show the use of a meter base adapter. We have those. A lot of you folks out there have them, our meter base adapters. And then we also are going to show you how you can use clamp-ons, which really is a more versatile way of being able to do this with all the different installations you got out there, so you don't have to have a meter adapter for all these different ones. And we'll talk about all that. And then we're going to use clamp-on probes at the CT. We got some great videos by another one of our Powermetrix family out there sent us into us, so Kelly Baines. So we're going to show you some very long distances trying to test some meters and some CTs, and we're going to show you another way that you could do that, okay, by using those secondary clamp-ons. So meter base adapters. You guys have seen us talk about these before, meter base adapters. They just, all you do is you pull the meter, and then you're going to stick the meter in here, and then you're going to push everything back into the socket, right? You can put it back in there. It offers you a test switch down here at the bottom. You have different ones of these, you get that you need to buy for the different, depending on the different meter forms. So you do have to have the one that will fit the particular one, and for depending on which meter form you're dealing with, okay? So you do have to have more than one of these to hit all your meter forms because they are specific to meter forms, okay? And you can see there they have, there's 3 different ones that we have. We have a 3S, 4S, 5S, then a 9S, 8S, 6S one, okay? So if you have the right one of those meter adapters, then you can plug it in there and you can, it allows you to have a test switch down there at the bottom like at a 3S, 4S. I mean, how many 3S, 4Ss out there do you have that have test switches on them? So if you use the meter-based adapter, like I said, this is what I do with it. First I plug in the meter into that, and then I plug the whole thing in, okay, all at one time. And when I'm putting my duct bills in and out, I also just keep my hand on the meter just because it creates a little bit of a cantilever action on there, okay? So you want to make sure in case something starts getting loose on those jaws in there. So I just always put my hand on there and then put my duct bills in and out, all right? You also have the option of using secondary clamp-on probes. This is what we recommend more because it gives you more versatility, okay? You can see right there on the left I've got an Mn355. It's a 10 amp. And also the one on the right is an Mn114. The Mn14s are the newer probe that we have now, clamp-on probe. We found that in electromechanical field situations, if you're getting up around CTs and stuff, that the Mn114 seems to be working a little better. We will probably end up phasing out the Mn375s and going with just the Mn114s in the future. It seems to be a little bit more accurate, and like I said, it seems to handle those electromechanical fields when you're getting up around CTs and stuff a little bit better. So we are going to recommend going forward with the Mn114s. Same rating on it as the other one, and just looking at them real quick, you can see here that the Mn114 is obviously a lot easier to get in there and clamp on. It's just like a giant clothespin, right, to get in there instead of this. Exact same ratings. We just seem to get a little bit better results accuracy-wise on these, and they do seem to do a lot better when you get up around electromechanical fields, like I said before. So we're definitely, we definitely like these Mn114s, and that's going to become our future offering. We're going to phase this out and just go with just this one, okay? Okay, we don't need to go to that yet. Can I go back one? I pressed the back button. Oh, okay. All right. So what you want to do, Mullins? You want to run a, we'll run a test on this 5S. So we've got a 5S delta. You see we got a 5S delta, and we just tried to cover up the test switch right there so that you wouldn't see it, all right, because we're acting like there's no test switch there, okay? So what we've done is, you can see we've come in here. So when I'm using those Mn114s I just talked to you about, okay, so I'm picking up my currents down here. Remember, this is a 3-wire delta, so I'm just on A and C phases, right? So you can see I'm here on A phase with my clamp on and C phase with my clamp on. So I just clamp her on right there, right? And there's arrows on there. Remember, any probe you use when you're detecting current, it's always directional because current's directional for us, right? So that means then that there's an arrow on there just like on all our other probes, and the arrow goes in the direction of the current or towards a load. So in this case, I've got my arrows pointing up because this is where it's coming straight up through my shunt blade and right up into my meter. Oops, sorry, there's no shunt blade there. Now there's just, I'm sorry, there's a straight wire going straight up through there, and it's going straight up into my meter. Okay, so I've got my arrow going up here and my arrow going up here. Okay, and then for my voltages, I came over here and I got on the bottom. Remember, this is a 3-wire delta, so my neutral and my B phase are together, right? So I've got them right here. See where I've got them here. And then I'm up on here, A and C phases. We use the easy hooks in this case because the easy hooks are a little bit better to get around those terminals and stuff, okay? And they grab on a little bit easier than the alligator clips. And I think Mullins is coming up with a little promo on those easy hooks in case you want to use those to test any of these. So without it, so he's coming up with a promo on that. And by the way, the guys in the chat room and everybody else, start sending in where are my promos. I keep telling Mullins to get these promos done, and he hasn't gotten them done yet. And I love cracking the whip on Mullins. So send in stuff saying, where's my dadgum promo, Mullins? Just put that in there. Just put, where's my dadgum promo, Mullins? Yeah, that'll work. Okay. All right, so you can see where we've got it hooked up. I've got hooked up A and C right here, voltages, B and neutral right here, voltages, and I have A and C on my currents, okay? and then I've got my blue flex for my pickup, because my pulses are coming out of the face of the meter right here. Okay? All right. So I've got a site set up in here, and I'm just going to do a integrated site test. So we're going to test the meter, and then we're going to test the CTs. So we're going to go with number 2. And you can see here we're going to do a custom load test on the meter, and then we're going to do a ratio test on the CTs. Okay? But what do I have to do? Can they see all of this? Okay. So I've never done this before. I've never asked anybody a question in the chat room and they've answered, have I? Can anybody see, looking at this screen, and remember how many times I've talked about it, is there anything that I need to make sure I do on this screen before I move on because of the way that I've set this up to test? I'm testing my CTs, A and C phases, and I'm over here connected up on A and C phase over here at my meter. Is there anything that I need to do before I move on with this screen right here? Anybody in the chat room? Might be a hat in for it. Might be a hat in there for you. Oh, that's right. There's a delay. My bad. Could be a hat in it for you. Or an LSU face mask, in case you want an LSU face mask. They Nice. They nailed it. Nice job, fellas. I will definitely send y'all, and thank you, Miss Bernice. My rep down there, Jim Richards, his better half, sent this to me. She just made that for me. That's pretty cool. Absolutely right. Those fellas that answered that are absolutely correct. If I didn't check the double wrap box right now, it would think that those 200s right here, it says 200 on the side, it would think they're 400s. Okay? Good catch. All right, so I'm going to move over here. I'm going to check the double wrap box. Now we can rock and roll. Good catch. It's one of those pain in the necks. You'll do it one time and then you won't do it again. You'll remember. Okay. If you heard my cookies in the truck story, then you'll know. You'll do it one time. This has been going on so long now that I can reference things, can't I? I can reference my cookie in the truck story. If they've watched them, that's right. Yeah. All right, let's give it a shot. Now my old 5S right here isn't as accurate as we would like it to be, but it's still doing a great job, for as old as it is. I wonder how old that bad boy is. Yeah, I guarantee you. That thing could be 20 years old. Old Schlumberger. Okay, so we ended up with 99.369. Now, you see the message down there at the bottom. Why did I get test complete, possible error, please check connections? Another question. Today's going to be, I'm going to ask questions in the chat room. So why did that happen? Why did I get in red at the bottom there, chat room? Why does it say, test complete, possible error, please check connections? Why is it telling me that? Anybody? They're talking about hats. Why am I getting at the bottom of the screen, test complete, but it's in red, and it says possible error, please check connections? Yes. Yes. Both the answers that are coming in are all correct. What that means is what you set up as pass or fail for a meter, You know, and that's happened to me before. I've went out there and tested with someone and noticed the results, and I can already tell what they've set for pass or fail, right? Because if I get something that's outside of 99.8 and 100.2, that's how the machine shows up. Remember, the machine shows up with set up as 0.2% is the accuracy error. So that means 0.2 above, 0.2 below. So when you receive a new test kit and you don't change anything on it, anything outside of 100.2 and 99.8 is going to give you that red fail message like we just saw. Now if you change it, that now becomes the new go and no-go. So if you change it to 1%, then now that means everything from 99 to 100 is going to be a pass. Everything outside of that's going to be a fail. I have some people set it at 2%, 98 to 102. Anything within there is a pass, but anything outside of that's going to give you that same message you're seeing right there, which is test complete but possible error. It's going to be in red. Remember, red's bad, green's good. And then please check connection. So it came outside of what we considered pass or fail. Nice job. Okay. Let's try the CTs. Okay. Says one on A and one on C. That's what we've got. Okay. So, where's my clicker? Oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to have been clicking. Should I have been clicking, Mullins? Should I have been clicking? Is there something past here? Okay, cool. We're good? All right. So you can see here that it passed A and C phases, because that's where we were. We're on A and C phases, right? For 3-wire delta. That's 5S. So we got to pass on both there and there. Okay? Now, let's say, and we're going to show these videos here that Kelly sent us. Let's say that you've got your daggum CTs are in Timbuktu. Okay, long ways away. Okay, is there anything else we can do besides Kelly and them obviously worked out a way to do it, and we'll see the way they do it, and we'll talk about it a little bit as it goes. But let's see. All right, so let's try it. Cool. All right. So you can see here, you saw the test kit on the stand, and now we're following this lead all the way around. He's got his probe adapter cable extensions. So he's got 3 50-foot extensions that he's connected together because he's 150 foot away. You can see where he's running. A few tripping hazards here, but he's running. Oop, now I'm busting everything up. So he's running. I'm trying to back up so I can see everything. We're all Kelly's going around the corner. Okay. Smart move. He didn't go through the ladies' room. So then he went around. Boom. And that's where he finally is running the test, okay? So you can do it that way. Now remember, when you do that, you're going to want to get it calibrated with all of those extensions if you have more than one, because there is going to be some drop if you start getting out there 150 foot. So if you do tend to do that on a regular basis, I would just say, if you do that, send in those extensions and ask us to calibrate it with the extensions, okay? I would do that. But we're going to show you another option here in a second. So here's another one. They start here. You can see there's my test kit. There's my meter, but where is my CT? Let's start outside. So let's start going outside. Aha. There he is up on the roof. Okay, so that's where where he had his red flex up there where the CT was. Look up there again. Click it. Oh, it's me now? Cool. Okay. So you can see that can happen where you can have very long runs. And we have extensions for that, just as Kelly used in that one. He got 3 of the 50-foot extensions and hooked them together, and he was 150 away. And so he's just using the one flex. He's moving if he needs to. But there is an alternative method, okay? If you wanted to, you could use some secondary probes like we have right here, my Mn353s. And I can take those Mn353s and I can come right over here, coming right off of my CTs, and I can clamp on there. So let's try that. So I'm going to go right here. Okay, so we can go right here. So I'm going to get on C phase right here. Now remember, these are directional, right? So there are arrows on here, so they have to be inserted and mounted on here correctly. So I want this to go in the direction of the current, right? So it's coming out of here, right? So I'm driving out of the black is where my current's coming out, so it's coming down. So I'm going to take my A phase, I'm going to put that arrow down, and I'm going to connect it right there. Okay? And I'm going to get over here on C phase, and I'm going to connect down on it. All right? So now we're going to run the exact same test, but this time now I don't have to have the 150-foot extensions like Kelly showed us right there. I can run it like this. So I'm going to hit retest all. So that definitely gives you an alternative method, right, to having to run the 150 foot. If you have access to them right here, you can just use those secondary clamp-ons. Because, you know, you got the two probe channels. I guess I should have pointed that out. The way we're running all of this is I've got two probe channels here. All right, I've got probe channel 1 and probe channel 2. So I can have my secondaries hooked up on one and my primaries hooked up on the other one. Okay, so I can have two sets of probes on here at the same time. So that's what allows me to be able to perform all these functions. I can run a set of secondary probes and primary probes at the same time. Okay, and I can run my secondary probes. I don't have to run both at the same time, but I can run secondary probes if I'm over here wanting to test just the meter. But if I want to test the meter and the CTs, I would need to have two probe adapter channels, right? One for my primaries and one for my secondaries. Otherwise, I couldn't test the CTs, right, if I didn't have both. Okay, so that allows me, having two probe adapter channels like that allows me to come in here and do this test. So you can see everything tested out okay. Didn't have to have the 150-foot runs. Kudos to Kelly and them, though. That was some nice wire management running through the building like that. That was pretty good. But you don't have to do that, okay? You do have the option. Using that second channel of ours, you can do it a lot. Well, right here it's a lot easier, isn't it? So I just moved the connections to right there and hit the button, okay? So what we basically wanted to show today was, it's something we don't point out enough, is yeah, you can run the big long extensions out there, but as Chris was thinking, he said, well, why don't we show them also that they can do it right there at the CT, and they can just get coming right off, you know, if you had a can right there close, or if you needed to get to them, anywhere I can get on that secondary current, I can get on that secondary current, I got it, okay? So it allows me to do that. So I can get on there and I can test the CTs, I can also test the meter using the secondary set of clamp-ons, right? So if I get there and there's no test switch on a 3 or 4S, I can test those with no problem using the secondaries. And Chris is going to get us a promo on the easy hooks, because sometimes they're easier to hook on there. And also we do have the lid. These are those easy hooks that we're talking about. It's kind of magical, huh? All of a sudden it's just like two easy hooks are just right there, nowhere. And I just reached them. That's how, oh, no, he did not. That's how easy the easy hooks are. Anyway, so yeah, they suddenly appear from nowhere. And so here are the easy hooks we're talking about. So it just makes it easier to get in on and make your connections sometimes, to grab on those terminals. Think about what that terminal looks like. I've got that hole there. If I can just grab and go from the outside of the terminal to the inside of that hole, boom, it grabs right on there. It just makes it easier sometimes than alligators. So he's going to make us a promo on those. He's also going to give us a lid promo, a lid update promo, or just, it'll probably just be what, Chris, be like a 3 series upgrade promo, you think it'll be called?
Yeah.
Okay. And what it'll have is it'll have that lid, and it'll have this extension in here. Remember how we got this? It's got that extension, make it easier to change stuff out, so you can change out your different pickups. So it's going to have that, and it's going to have the lid with the pocket in it, so you can have a little pocket there to put some stuff in. Okay?
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
When I say this, repeat the question. Bertwood Johnson wants to know, on a 3S meter, do you clamp around all conductors, even though current flows in both directions?
Oh boy. I don't know what happened. Let me repeat the question. Okay. Okay. All right. They can't hear us. Okay. Can I read it? Oh, I can come over here and read it, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mullins got nervous. He thought I was hardwired. Okay. Virgil asks, on a 3S meter, do you clamp around all conductors even though current flows in both directions? I don't know what was going on, Virgil, but I had 2 different people ask me this past week about testing 3S meters. So here's the thing with the 3S meter. Can I draw on that? I can move that over here and draw on it real quick, can I? Is that okay with you, Chris? No, okay, never mind. No, never mind. When Chris gets that look, I don't even know. No. Chris starts getting nervous. We all get nervous. So here's the thing. So, okay, 3S meter. So I've got 2 conductors running through it, one each going in opposite direction, correct? My current's going in the opposite. You have service types that you can choose on the Powermaster. One service type, that at the end of it, if you look at the service type, it'll say 3 voltage, 3V, 3C, TR. At the very end, it'll say PC, which is primary current. So it'll say 1 PC or a 2 PC. What that means is it means how many probes are you going to use to pick up the primary current. So if you choose the service that's 1 PC on the end, you will clamp one probe around both those conductors. But think about it. I got the current going in 2 different directions. So if you look on the color diagram, literally, when you get ready to test the CTs, it should show you, if you pick the 1 PC choice, it should show you a figurating of the flex, which, here we go. Which here's what we're talking about on that one, Virgil, in case you hadn't done it before. This is where you figure 8 a flex. Now when you figure 8 it, here's what happens. One of these holes, the arrow is going one way. One of these holes, the arrow is going the other way. In this one right here, the arrow is going this way. So this one, the arrow is going the other way. So imagine I've got 2 conductors, current running this way one way, current running that way. I would put this on there just like that. So the current would my arrow would match up going this way for the top and that way at the bottom. And then it would take the 2 of those and it would read it correctly. Now, if you choose the one that says 2 PCs on the end of it, then that means you're going to use 2 flex probes. You'll put one with the arrow going one way. You'll put the other with the arrow going the opposite way, right? And then it'll take the 2 of them and it'll read them correctly. If you take one flex and wrap it around both of them, they're going to negate one another. If you don't either figure 8 it or if you don't use 2 separate ones, it can on the inside of this add them up if they're going in 2 different directions. It has no way of doing it. This probe right here can't do that. It doesn't have enough brains to it. It's just measuring the current through there. So what happens is if I do this though, then I'm cool. Or if I just put 2 separate ones, one going one direction and one going the other direction, I can always test it that way. All right? Good question. It was weird. Just this past week, I had 2 different people calling and asking me about testing 3Ss. All right?
Another question too from the chat room.
Yep.
The customer asked about why would we use 20 amp rated clamp-ons versus 10 amp, what we have now? Because our meters are class 20, right?
Right. Yeah. Now, coming out of you got to think if everything is 100 to 5, 10 to 200 to 5. So on the secondary side of my CTs, I should have just 5 amps coming out of there. Okay? So 10 amps should be fine, the rating on those.
There are some cases, when we talk about extended range CTs, this could be possible.
Yes.
So if you had extended range CTs, you could have a higher secondary current there at the meter. In that case, we have the Mn353 probes, which are 150 amp rated.
That's right. There is the only reason I didn't bring up the Mn353s this time. The only reason I didn't bring up the Mn353s, you can see same size as a 375, is because we were just talking transformer rated stuff today. But we do have a 200 amp rated clamp on as well. It's the same exact size as this one. Okay, you can use it on 2Ss and also on, But anyway, that's why I hadn't brought that up. Well, we just wanted to, we don't know what we're going to do next week. We would love to hear any suggestions from you guys. Hopefully you got something out of today. Really appreciate the questions on the chat room. It's interesting about the 3S because I just been talking about that with two different people last week. But if you have any, please do that in the future. Holler at us with questions in the chat room. And I might keep doing this thing where I ask you guys questions. You did real well this morning, by the way. Just want to thank everybody, and hopefully we're going to start seeing some light at the end of this tunnel with everything that's going on right now. And everybody be careful out there, all right? I'm starting to travel a little bit more now, and you just got to be careful all the way around. So just be careful out there, and God bless, all right? Thank y'all. Appreciate it.